Thank you everyone for joining today, and a very warm welcome to all our viewers for today's online session, Om Nayama. And as Uviji has mentioned, today we have reached the 10th day of this whole session. And as he have also said, Young Hearts is a non-profit society for the promotion and preservation of various art forms, languages, and literature. So they have organized this virtual platform to connect to different artists, practitioners, writers, dancers, thinkers, activists from around the world. And I have been continuously been in touch with all of you through this program for last 10 days, and I have meet and known some amazing performers and artists from around the world. I must say there were two, three performers till now we had from international other countries. And some of the artists who have participated are known to me, some are unknown. I have got familiar to this, to their new practice, which was amazing. And today, our guest, as Umesh ji has mentioned, a very well known and our eminent guest, because these few days we have been seeing some seniors, some young artists, some performances, very different kind of artworks. And today we have a very different kind of genre of artwork that is practiced by Manishji, and he is involved in many other kind of forms, which we will get to know today through our discussion. So I'll just you all must be, most of you are already familiar with his practice, but I'm just giving a short bio for our understanding. So Manish Pushkile is born in 1973 in Bhopal, and Manish Pushkile received a master degree in painting from Bhopal and a postgraduate degree in conservation from the National Museum, New Delhi. He has developed a foundation for the language of abstraction, which now carries an imprint of his distinct style. His works has attained maturity and an extraordinary significance owing to several shifts in experimentation and experience. He is one of India's highly regarded painters, known for his contribution to contemporary art through his novel approach. On the one hand, his works are a play of formal dichotomies such as light and shade, mark and erasure, form and formless, resist and exist, and control and indulgence. On the other, his paintings have also matured into a state that confronts and assimilates this contrast, achieving a form of refined harmony. His works are deeply rooted in Indian aesthetics. Other than participating in many solos and group exhibitions in India and abroad, of course, Manishji is a recipient of many awards and residencies. He represented the country at the Friends of India in the Festival of India in France in 2007, and showed his works at Musée de Guthrie, France. He was a fellow at the Institute of Advanced Studies, Nancy, in 2014. He is one of the trustees at the Raza Foundation, where he is involved in co-editing Arup, a visual art journal published by the foundation, among other responsibilities. So today we will learn and hear from him what are the roles and other works that the foundation does. And he has written many books on art, and he has recently published a novel in Hindi. So welcome, Manishji. Welcome for today's program on Om Nayama.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pranamita. Thank you very much.
So it is nice to see you after a long time, and you had a long journey in art for so many years. You have been seeing so many arts, you have met so many artists, you know. So we would like to first start from your initial journey towards art and your association and memory with Bharat Bhavan, how you came into art and your young days.
Yeah. Yeah, Pranamita, it was now I'm 25-year old in this city, which is known as Delhi.
Okay.
And before that, my another almost 7, 8 active years of my days in Bhopal. So I can say that I am right now 47-year-old, and it sounds very strange that if we calculate, it is almost 33 years in arts. I've not done anything else. I don't know anything else. Well, as you mentioned already that I am born and brought up in Bhopal. And if I go more deeper to my roots, my mother, she's from Sagar. It is a place which is around 200 kilometers from Bhopal. And my father also belonged to the same area, but from a small village, which is known as Nivar. It is near Damo. So, but my father, he came to Bhopal uh, in uh, late 60s, mid 60s, and he got his job in Bhopal. So that's how, we got settled in Bhopal. And my basic education, everything has been done in Bhopal. But the most interesting part is that I really feel now when I see myself, when I see my past, when I review my past, I find it very interesting that I'm really blessed and destined that I was born in Bhopal. Only because this city had great institution known as Bharat Bhavan, as you mentioned. And now when I see it more precisely and very carefully, I say to Ashok ji also many times, and Ashok ji has quoted it many times in his, formal, informal conversations with others. I say this to him that Ashok ji, I think that Bharat Bhavan came in existence. If we are talking of painter, Bharat Bhavan was a multi-arts complex, So it was the place of the literature and other art forms at the same time under one roof. But as being a painter, if I see myself in the context of Bharat Bhavan, so I said this to Ashok ji, that Ashok ji, I think that Bharat Bhavan came in existence for me. He said, what do you mean by that? I said, we are the two examples. One is an example from the urban background, who that is me. And another example is an artist who came from tribal background. That is Jangar Singh Shyam. We two are the very unique examples who are, you can say, are the product of Bharat Bhavan. Hello?
Yes, we can
Is
hear
it going
that.
on well?
Yeah, it's going on very well.
Yeah. Okay. So I said that we two are the very unique individuals from our point of view, because we are not coming from any formal training program in art. We are not coming from a kind of a proper system, but we are there. And in our being, Bharat Bhavan played a very, very important pivotal role, in our existence. So I feel proud. I feel proud. I'm by saying so, I'm a bit romanticizing it, but romance is not a bad thing.
Yeah, of course.
Especially with an institution like Bharat Bhavan, which has created a great, mark in the century.
Of course, definitely.
And it came in the second last decade of the last century, and that has really become like a bookmarker. When you read the book, you place a mark. So Bharat Bhavan plays its existence is like a very interesting marker in a chronological existence between the two centuries. So I'm proud that I'm a product of Bharat Bhavan. If Bharat Bhavan has not been there, I can't imagine myself in its absence. So Bharat Bhavan has given, it was a very holistic exposure, Pranamita, because it's not an art college. So you are getting a lesson without teaching. So that's more important. You are directly into the experiences. You see the work. I remember my days. It was probably class 10th when I went to Bharat Bhavan, and when I entered in Rupankar, the visual art collection where the Bharat Bhavan is, I remember I was shocked. I said, what is this? This is something, the architecture, which is absolutely fantastic architecture by Charles Correa. And when I went inside its premises and its galleries, its tribal art gallery, contemporary art gallery, I said, this is something, I got the first smell of my soul. And of course, I had no idea what is that and what I'm going to do with that. But there was something which clicked. There was something which has pulled my complete attention, which has pulled my complete, kind of a, which has dragged my the bottom of my soul towards it. I thought this is something, and that has, given me reason to visit and revisit and revisit. And even after that, I started bunking schools, and my other friends went to see the movies. I went to see the paintings,
Wonderful. That's
and
wonderful.
it was the crazy time. It was a beautiful time, actually. You are wondering for no reason. You are liking it, but you don't know what you're liking. But there is something. There was a one pull, which was so strong, which was so strong. I still feel that. Even now, when I go to Bhopal, if I'm not going to Bharat Bhavan just to touch its, walls, just to touch its ground, that's my visit to Bhopal is not complete otherwise. So Bharat Bhavan to me is like a classic example of a modern temple.
So, was they very welcoming to a young student like you at that time? Like you used to go again and again, as you said. How was the environment?
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes. As I said, that because there was no system as such of teaching. You can go to the gallery and see the painting. There is a community workshop of the ceramics, of painting, of printmaking. So anyone can go and take the admission there. So of course, initially I was very, very hesitant and I was absolutely unaware of everything. But that smell, that painting, that ambience, and that grandeur of the space, everything, the music, the theater, the people, the conversations which are going on, which are coming passively to your ears. I I find everything was so catchy and so pulling. There is something which is, because I am not from a conventional. I'm hailing from a very normal middle class family, uh, uh, which is nothing to do with art. I can say it's more a religious family rather than a cultural family. I'm saying this very carefully because the difference between the religion and culture is so well separated in today's time. So I more belong to a religious family rather than a cultural family. But now I created a family which is more cultural rather than religious. So
Very interesting and very inspiring. Because I believe through this talk we will know each other and I will also learn many things because as you have mentioned about the whole Bharat Bhavan and of that period of time. So these are not known directly to me. We have read about
yes,
something, Swaminathan, and all apart as in reading, but
yes,
to listen first-hand information, the primary source, is amazing.
yes, 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 yes. I feel
So,
myself destined that I got a chance to see Swaminathan. I met him, and I am probably the only one from my generation, at least. Swaminathan is so much into our heart. It's Swaminathan now exists like a air. He's like a air. He's like a dream. He is like a five senses, which exist around us. Swaminathan is so much in Bhopal, and his contribution is immense. I mean, it's really. But I feel blessed that I got a chance to meet him. I got his hug. That's enough. That's enough. But what a man, and what a great contribution. And it is really, I mean, I I really take it as a blessing that I started my career with his literal touch. He touched my shoulder, he hugged me, I showed my paintings, whatever I had, they were very pretty. But the great people, they even give you a great encouragement.
yeah.
So not only me, we all owe a lot to J Swaminathan. His contribution is
And
immense, incomparable.
so his persona also seems very strong when we, of course, I have not met him, but
Yes,
when
yes,
we
yes.
just see his photograph or
Yeah, yeah,
see,
yeah. He was like a sadhu. He was literally like, he gave his the most precious years of his life when he was professionally, when he was in Delhi. and professionally when he was so much in demand. I'm not talking of the market sense, but in a greater sense. He was very active and very reactive also. At the same time, then when he was invited to come to Bhopal to when he invited me to come, when he was invited in Bhopal for Bharat Bhavan, so he has given a very precious years of his active practice, and he has given his life for the execution of this great institute. So of course, Swaminathan is
So you also got an opportunity to be a very close association with Razaji,
yes,
the very renowned master.
yes,
So
yes.
can you share his influence on you and some of his
See,
memories?
I mean, Raza and Swaminathan, these are two very unique examples in the sense that they both kept a very alive dialogue and a relationship with the younger generation. And now, as both of them are uh, no more, so still the way they exist, still in the, it is so large, and they are so much alive in our heart and by their works. It is rare. It is rare. So having a dialogue with the younger generation is really,
Very
they
important.
without any second thought, without any idea of action, without any mean intention, they were the great human beings actually. And anyone who is coming with the hunger for art, they opened their arms and they helped, and they have influenced the whole generation. They've influenced the whole generation. I mean, they are the great reformers.
So now coming to current time, like now you are a trustee, there is a foundation.
Yeah.
So what is, can you tell us about the foundation? What is your role and what are the kind of programs the foundation is doing? As
See,
well as if there is any program or opportunity for young artists or researcher or curators.
yeah, there are so many things. The Raza Foundation presence is now is a grand presence in the cultural scene. It's
Of course.
almost 20-year-old foundation, and
Hmm.
is one of the most active. In fact,
Yeah,
over
of course, for
foundation.
last 6, 7 years, it's been
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
active.
This is this is what is this all happened in the great vision of Ashok Vajpayee. He is a great institution maker. The way he is created, the foundation is a very interesting example that this is an institution without having a structure of the institution. There is no building. We work with other institutions. They have the space, we have the vision. So we do the collaboration with the India International Center, with the India Habitat Center, and the innumerable institutions across the country and in other countries also. So Raza Foundation is a very active foundation, of course, focused on arts, not only on the visual art, though it has been created by the major Raza, of course. So, but the emphasis is on the aesthetics wherever it exists. So right from social science to classical art forms, to contemporary art form, to literature, it exists everywhere. And the kind of programs which Raza Foundation is doing and whatsoever we have done in last 20 years is really, it's really amazing. And you will see that people will follow. We can see that people are already following because what we are doing is what was needed, especially when the other institutions, those who have a lot of money but they don't have vision. We are the one who, without that much of money but with vision, we are creating the passage, and we are also establishing a lesson for many that if you have a vision, then everything is possible. And this happened because of Ashok Vajpayee. Ashok ji is, that's, we are blessed that we have a people like Ashok Vajpayee, a man like Ashok Vajpayee. And I mean, he is like uh, a man of immense contribution and great company from which one can learn many things. So Raza Foundation doing a lot. The latest thing I want to show you, this is, as you mentioned in my introduction about Aroop, this is the latest edition of the Aroop, which came
Okay.
yesterday.
All right.
And in the time of the pandemic, almost 236 pages. This cover is by Nilanjan Bandyopadhyay and from Shantiniketan. And this is, we invite a guest editor. So this time it is Ananya Vajpayee. So it's more on the socio-political issues. But very interesting. Soon you will see on the shelves. And before this, we had Nancy Arjania who did the 2 issue. This is on the failure. If you can see failure. So the failure wherever we failed. So this is a documentation about the different kind of failures.
All right.
In today's time, everyone is talking about success. Let someone also talk about the failure. It's very
about the failure. Very important. Very important.
Yes, so this is a documentation, successful documentation of the failure.
Because we ourselves also prepare to failure, and our children also.
Yes. Yes.
That is something very important, and which has really come out during this whole situation in this time of pandemic.
Exactly.
And it's the truth of life.
Yes. Yes. So you will see this. Ananya Vajpayee has really given her blood, in on bringing this beautiful issue. In this.
So where are these available for people to?
Still, sorry.
Where are these publications are available for? If someone wants to get.
We keep them for sale in our every event.
Okay.
So it's very easy, or you can email to the foundation and we can send it. So yeah, and apart that, then a lot of publication, lot many books. In our visual art field, we recently came out with the biography of Bhupen Kakkar, which Sudhir Chandra wrote. That's another beautiful document. So many interesting things. A lot of things are going on. Foundation is too active.
Definitely, we get the invites and all. But apart from that, we were just asking about the inside story from you directly.
The Raza Foundation is the only foundation which is literally working on the foundations of the aesthetics of our country. It is not just, we are not working on the air. We are literally working on the foundations.
So, Manishji, as you have shown this publication, you also keep an interest on writing. So, what are the kind of publication you are involved with? And
I am working on 3-4 things, and the most important thing which I have done is that I was commissioned by, I was invited by the Bodhana Prakashan in Bombay, Jaisal Thakkar, 3 years back. It's 3 years. So from 3 years, I had translated, 4 books of K.G. Subramaniam in Hindi. So hopefully, I'm expecting by this year end we will start his publication. The time is going on the first and the second draft of it. It's a translation is a very serious and a job of a great responsibility, and especially when it is about by the man like K.G. Subramaniam. So I have done that. So Moving Focus has been translated. The Magic of Making has been translated. The Living Tradition has been translated. And the Creative Circuit has been translated. So it was a big job. And the idea is to have them in Hindi. And then because there is hardly good literature on visual art is available for the students who are from the Hindi belt. We need a lot of translation in the regional languages. We need a lot of everything is in English, and that's not enough. That's not fair, actually.
Of course, right
India
now,
India is a very culturally very rich and complex country. Every state is like a one European country in itself, but the narrative exists only in one language. So we need many
books in Hindi as well as other regional.
In the regional narratives we need. So this is the another thing which is taking, and a part of that, my second novel is going on. Small things are going on.
So what kind of readings you like to have in general, like as you keep an interest on literature?
It could be anything. It could be anything, I'm reading poetry also, novel also, I'm reading essays also. I mean, it could be anything. Anything which catches you, कुछ भी हो सकता है. कुछ भी हो सकता है, कुछ ना कुछ पढ़ता रहता हूँ.
Okay.
You know, it's just to keep myself engaged. That's very important. Otherwise, you know, it's going to be difficult for me. When I'm painting, then it's fine. But when I'm not working, then of course, then I keep engaged myself in other things. My diaries, you know, in this Corona days, I did my diary. It's known as the Corona diary. Amitabh Das gave a nice name. He said, call it Karuna diary. I said, that's nice.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So
So
that diary is filled with your sketches or your writings or
it's
both?
writing. It's writing. It's writing. I've done lot many sketches also, and I'm calling them also writing. You know, as my diary. So yeah. So painting is going on. Drawing is going on. I have not done anything which I was not doing. You know, so this is not a side effect of the Corona period. I was doing that before also, but
Right.
yes,
So
only something which is
Manoj,
stopped is my traveling,
yeah, of
which
course,
everyone
that
else
has
is traveling has stopped. So
everyone has stopped. Yeah. Until and unless something very
yeah,
important, no one is
yeah,
being
yeah.
aware. So we have talked about other things. Now coming to your work, you have also did your bachelor's in geology. So how that
Yes.
helped you in your art practice, or is there any reflection? Because someone who has studied science also become an artist, and then they use something from that their previous educational information. So how do you think anything is
Yes.
related?
Pranamita, my science background has really helped me a lot. You know, that really has given me a kind of a methodology, and also has given me a kind of a rational to think in a specific manner, a kind of a mannerism which I got, you know, on the level of on the preparatory level. It really helps me. It is my own methodology. It's a very personal process, but it is very scientific. So I find it very helpful in my process. And Rahi baat about the influences of my geology. Yes, that has helped me a lot. Because, and later on, when I was doing my master's in geology and further my studies, detailed studies in the paleontology, I never ever thought at that time that these are going to be the source of my inspiration in the coming time. I took time to assimilate them. You know, they came on my canvas. They took almost 17, 18, 20 years. You know, they remained with me just as a knowledge, just as an information that I had gone through them in my lessons. They took time. It took time to formulate them. And then from the formulation, the development of a form, the development of the technique to achieve the form, this is a gradual, continuous, but slow process. But I'm not, I mean to say that these are the inspirations. There are many things in geology or in everywhere, actually. You know, if you're inspired, you can inspire from everything. But my inspirations from geology is, of course, I mean, right from my palette up to my forms and the narrative which I have developed around it, that has so much of about geology, because geology is a subject which tells us about the presence below the surface. In art, so far, we are most of the time are giving we are giving our attention and importance only to the presence which exists on the surface. We call it landscape, we call it whatever, or a kind of a linear perspective we deal with, or an artist deal with. Linear perspective exists on surface, but geology gives you another window to imagine, to think, and to quote something which exists below the surface. Because it exists below the surface, it is not in the direct experience of your retinal periphery. Because you don't see them directly, so you don't conceive them also, you don't imagine them also. Geology has given me a window to think about those who do not exist in your linear perspective experience, but still they exist. It is very abstract in itself.
Yeah.
kind of a fossil, when you see a fossil, when you realize the whole process of fossil, when you study the whole process of fossil, and then when you study the process of lost and wax process of the sculpture making in the tribal communities, it is so same. And then you got a new rationale to understand that how the tribal community has taken or has developed their technique of creating the sculpture from a natural process. So how advanced they are, what is the sense of their science? It's so amazing. The lost and wax process is exactly the process of the formation of the fossil, but the formation of the fossil, it takes millions of years to come in existence. And they have accelerated the process, they have developed the science, and they convert it immediately into a kind of a sculpture. So it is very interesting. I see sculpture as a fossil then that gives me another window and another interpretation and my own point of view to analyze it. I did one series in this lockdown, and because when we go to a laboratory, any scientific laboratory, when you see the object, they call it specimen.
Yeah.
And when we go to the museum and when we see the object, they call it artifact. So I created one series which is known as Specifact.
Specific. Okay.
They are the specific facts, but in my own manner, in my own language. We are familiar with the word of the specifications, but specifics are something in which I am taking something from the natural history, I'm taking something from the modern history, I'm taking something from the science, I have assimilated all together and have created something.
Right.
So this is specific.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Specific is
Specific.
about
Yes.
and the way you explain.
Something specific is a kind of a passage, a shelf which neither exists in museum nor in laboratory, but it exists in life.
Yeah.
Because
So
we are talking of the museum,
by
the
you.
way the museums has been conceived traditionally. It is like उसको बोला ही जाता है अजायब घर. ये जो term है हिंदी में typical museum का अजायब घर, it means that something which was existed, which is no more existing.
Right.
And museum में भी जो specimen को जो रखा जाता है, it is something which is like which is like dragged out from its source and then has been mounted in front of you as an example of it. So in both the sense, a kind of a detachment is there. In Specifics, I have created a new attachment, but on a neutral platform. It is neither a roof of a museum nor a roof of the laboratory.
Thank you, Manish. So I like to ask about the recent series. I have just seen a glimpse of that in one of my visits to your studios. You have created something with the brick powder and all. So,
Yes.
can you tell about that, about the techniques you have used and the
Yes.
philosophy
In
behind it?
fact, Pramita, my last almost 4 years, this is my 5th year is going on. A lot of experimentation is going on. And in between, I had shows, but I have not displayed these works because to me, experiment it's almost like a research. We are doing so many things in our studio, but it doesn't mean that everything is meant to exhibit. It's for your own learning process. अब इस उम्र में आते आते हमको इतना पेशेंस आ जाना चाहिए और इतनी समझ भी आ जाना चाहिए कि एक्साइटमेंट में हम हर कुछ एग्जिबिट ना करें
And आप
और
एक
करके भी
ऐसे
देखें
स्टेज पे
because
पहुंचे जहाँ पे आपको
process you cannot understand without putting yourself into the process, without investing yourself completely into the process, you will not understand. But you in the process, sometimes you fail, sometimes you are successful, but failure and successful are two different aspects. That's fine. So I'm working on many mediums. I'm working on paper pulp. I'm working on very crazy drawings. These are, when we say drawings, we conceive drawing in the form of a line. But the drawing which I have done, they are more like a writing. So I'm not saying that I'm drawing the drawing. What I have done is I'm writing the drawing.
As you mentioned about the sketchbook,
Yes,
Corona Diary.
yes, yes, yes. So I have done a lot many works in which I am writing the drawing, and uh, as you mentioned that with the brick, yes, that started from Nalanda. Fortunately I got a chance to visit Nalanda 4 times in last 2 years. And every time when you're going to Nalanda, then you have to go to the campus of Nalanda, the most famous university campus. So मैं वहाँ गया, and then of course that brick and that terracotta red and everything, it was so appealing. Every time I'm coming with some memory. This time when I went, I collected some pieces of those bricks, not from the archaeological site, but from the campus around, by by the emotion that every brick is of the same age. और मैं लेके आया, then I treated the brick and then I created something out of it. Then I showed it personally to many of my friends. I more believe in that before bringing it to the exhibition. That personal conversation, like I showed it to you, I showed it to Amitabh, I showed it to Mona, I showed it to many other friends, those who are concerned, those who I believe in. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense to show it to everyone. So I showed it, and then getting the ideas, hearing the people, what is the reaction, and then was thinking about how to move ahead. And I'm still working on it. I don't know how I'm going to go ahead on that, but it is still in the process. Yes. So a lot of experiment.
Yeah. So you have been working for now more than 20 years, as you mentioned, like you have been in Delhi for 25 years. So how you
Yes.
see yourself evolved in terms of your thoughts, concepts, or medium?
Uh, when we work continuously, of course, you sometimes it happens that few things becomes predictable within your work, and I'm going through that challenge. I personally feel very clearly. I see my works sometimes with a lot of questions. I try to pat down all the reasons of my dissatisfaction. Uh, I try to make my notes where I am failed. I try to make my notes on my predictable idioms, and I'm trying to let it out deliberately. This is what is the scientific process, and when we do so, sometimes it happens that, say, for example, I'm working in oil from last so many years. So I know that how that material behaves. And because of the predictability of the behavior of that material, many things becomes predictable and obvious to me. So I changed the material for 1 year. I moved to acrylic. Acrylic is absolutely opposite medium. That is oil-based medium. It is water-based medium with absolutely opposite properties. So whatsoever experience I have gained in last 20 years become irrelevant. And I was literally on the crossroads, like I was standing on the day one of my struggle, what to paint and how to paint. Converting your experience to zero and bring it to the question is so important. I'm not trying to give anyone, but this is lesson which I'm trying to share with you all, that I find it very challenging but very important for an artist to come out of your comfortable zones. We create because when you do so, when you shift from one material to another, then many things which emerge with the material as its property. Because every material has its own property. So when you change the medium, when you change the material, the properties also changes. उसके कारण एक नवाचार, जो हिंदी में शब्द, यू बी का डांसर मस्ट बी अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस टर्म, नवाचार जो आता है वो इसी से आता है, जो बढ़त जो मिलती है, वो जो सरप्राइज एलिमेंट जो मिलता है. आई मीन, because I am a painter who is not dealing with the subject. I am not painting any socio-political works, or my works are very depressing, dull, unromantic. unfashionable, and y- uh, uh, uncommon in that sense. They are not the works which are existing in the ongoing trends. Abstraction is like, we have, I say as a joke to myself and to many others, that we the abstract painters are less than the number of tigers in the country. So so when you are not dealing with the story, when you are not dealing with an idea, then what you are dealing with? I mean to say that when you are dealing with nothing, then the challenge becomes very wide. And
Like
I enjoy that. I enjoy that. I try my best. I try my best. The moment I get something, I try to null and void by changing my medium, and I try to encounter that nothingness, because then only, at least for me, I get my way to move ahead.
it must be helping and inspiring many young artists who are exploring with the medium of in this form, like abstract form they are trying with. So, Manenji, can you share about how you have how this pandemic has affected you as an artist, and how you have spent your time during this lockdown?
Uh, Actually, uh, affected in the sense that, of course, the social aspect of life has been affected very badly. Finally, we are concerned for others. We all have our small circle. You are concerned for them. You want to meet them. We are able to talk to them. Fortunately, we are in a time of the telecommunication and all these new mediums. We are sitting on the distance, but yet we are able to converse. Just imagine the time of the Second and the First World War, when the people were stuck at that home, there was the no telecommunication. And but after that, see the great revolution in art, also in literature. The screen which came, which turned out to be, which took the form of art, was so amazing. In our time, fortunately, the rate of suffocation is not that high as the previously it was, because we have phones, we have so many agencies, to have, if not the active, then to have a passive meets. So we are not, I will not call it isolation. People are talking that we are isolated, we are bored, that's sad. John Cage says very beautifully. He says, someone asked him, to John Cage, that what is the biggest source of inspiration for you? He said, to me, the biggest source of my inspiration is the boredom. The things around me are so interesting that I want to get fed up of them. I want to be get bored. And when I get bored, I get my nutrition out of it. And then I create. And when you hear his symphonies, when you hear his, when you read his dialogues, it is about a great element of the silence. The silence which is, which we are scared of. तो हम साइलेंस में हैं कहाँ? क्या बिगड़ा है हमारा? We are working in our premises, we are with our family, we are talking to our friends, we are in touch with the people we are concerned with. Only thing is that we are unable to step out, and we are doing so much gaga of the pandemic. The people who are really suffering in the pandemic are really suffering, but we are fortunately in a comfortable zone. We are safe and healthy. But I really want to bring your attention to that generation of the Second World War and the First World War, when there was the no mode of communication. They were literally into the isolation. People died. They really wanted to talk to someone. They didn't got a chance. The creative people in that period came out with a great revolt. After all, the Munch scream came out of that only. I'm not expecting that kind of explosion in creativity from this today's pandemic isolation. I'm not expecting it, because there is no suffocation. There's a boredom.
Once we get access to so many things, actually we get used
See,
to this.
connectivity is a big problem, Pranamita. We are connected to everyone. The problem is now to connect with your own self.
Right. But how do you see the art scene post-COVID? Because it's going to be almost 1 year.
Yes.
So, in your perspective, like, what do you
See,
think?
those who are, what I'm going to say is, again, it's going to be slightly harsh, but sometimes it's good to speak harsh. Those who are born for art will remain. Those who are not born for art will peanuts. As simple as that. By knowing the fact that art material is expensive, by knowing the fact that art practice is not easy, I know all those things. Yet I am saying it. All those trespassers, mediocres, every Tom, Dick, and Harry who become PR because of the who become artists because of PR and networking and all those things. It's going to be a question for them. Those who are born for art, those who are really serious about their art, they will survive, and people, they will get the help also. Nothing will happen to them, I'm sure. I'm sure. And I know many of my artist friends who are standing, with their open hands and the open arms to help all those people. And I know many people who are really helping many people. That's great. They are not doing any gaga. They are not, making the Facebook post and saying that I have done this. We are still surrounded by many great people, many great art, many fine artists. I know many of them. तो कुछ नहीं होगा प्रणमिता, इस पे चिंता करने का कोई मतलब नहीं है. Anyone who is with the temporary interest will go, because the pandemic is also temporary. It is not going to be a lifelong thing. It will go. Previously also it has gone. But
I have asked,
of course, there is a kind of uncertainty is there for the very younger generation. People are uncertain. They are worried about their future. They are worried about. So I have only one thing to say to them, that everyone is struggling. This is a time to remain firm. This is a time to remain very clear. And this is also time to contemplate and to focus. To focus rather than focusing outside, better to focus in self. It is a time to focus. This is a time to contemplate. They got a great time, actually, if you see from artist's point of view. The external movements are stopped. Are you moving internally? Still, even if you're not moving internally, then no one can help you. This is a time to review yourself. Indulge some good habits. Create some good work. Good or bad, I didn't mean to say good or bad painting, but at least work. Work is the only thing. Fact of the fact is that today we are talking together, sitting together. The only reason between the only reason of the introduction between, or only reason of the connect between us is our art. Because of art, we are talking to each other. If we remove that art between us, we are strangers. Let's not forget this primary, very first, most important presence of art. Slowly, it becomes secondary. You are doing everything, and then finally, in the end of the day, you are doing something. What's wrong? Nothing to worry. I just want to say to my young artist friends that nothing to worry. You definitely will get your dues. This is a tough time for this challenge is not an exclusive challenge. This is a challenge to the artist community across the globe.
Yeah.
And I tell you, we in India are really very blessed. The the everyday cost of living in India, the everyday challenge of living in India is much better and much cheaper than other part of the world. We are not born in Russia. You have to buy. The biggest worry is to buy the good quality shoes and to store the food. Live in a very moderate country. Live in a very society. Still a part of the mediocrity and all those things. Still, we are a very good and alive society. The survival instinct for Indian society is still very strong. So I am very hopeful. I'm very positive. But yes, with one harsh statement that those who are doing painting because they are born painter will definitely not only will survive, they will flourish.
Thank you. Thank you. And I hope all our listeners who are listening will give a thought on this. And those who are depressed will think about the whole situation. And
People will say that who will decide that who is a born painter?
no, it's not about decision. It's about
Yeah.
inside everything is
It's about
there.
yourself.
Yeah.
It's about yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
It's not outside will decide. It's all within you.
Yeah, yeah.
So before going, I
If you're
to
serious about your art, then no one else can give you the answer. You know the answer. That's it. Those who know the answers will survive.
so there are two things that I'd like to talk to you before we end. One is like you have been working with abstract art for a long time, and as you mentioned, there are less tigers, less abstract artists are there than. So in that, whatever statement you gave, anyways, as like a lightly you said that, but now to young artists who are uh, practicing less abstract art or want to or in an apprehension, how do you inspire them to take that art form?
See, it is not about inspiration. It is just about, it is not like it, today I will do abstract painting, tomorrow I will do landscape, third day I will do some conceptual art. It's not that. When you're continuously working, see, every good art is a good art, good painting is a good painting, but you know, it could be abstract, it could be any painting. So it's not, let's not see it in that way. I just want to say one thing, that when you are working continuously for a few years, then you realize, when you see your works, you realize that something is coming, something is going. It's a continuous process. But in that continuous process, there is something which continuously remains in it. What is that? If you are doing, if it is coming naturally, if it is happening naturally, it's fine. Whatsoever is happening naturally with you, do that. ऐसे नहीं हो सकता कि do the abstract, you do the abstract painting and you do the landscape. No, it's not that. Ganesh Aloi, if you see the painting of the Ganesh Aloi, there is a huge memory of a landscape in it, but the approach is abstract. And if you, on the other end, if you see the painting of Rajendra Dhawan, again the memory is a memory of a night landscape or nightscape, but the approach is very different. So I just want to say to many young artist friends that try to find your approach, and you will not find it like aaj mil gaya. You have to work continuously and show your work to the right people. Be in touch with the right people. That's very, very important. Be in conversation with the right people. You know, don't be in any trap. It's so important to be in conversation. I'm saying this because what I'm saying, I'm just sharing what I've experienced. As I said in the beginning, that I find it very blessed myself that I got some great friends in my life, some great people in my life, जिनको मैं लगातार काम दिखाता रहा और उनसे लगातार एक संवाद बनता रहा. Pranamita, when you're hungry now, you get food. This is the very simple logic of the nature. So when you're hungry for art, you will get the people, you definitely will get a society like that. So it's just be focused, be patient, be calm, and focus, focus, focus. इतना ही मैं कह सकता हूँ.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is the lesson. वो सिर्फ इतनी बात कहते थे.
We have been in a talk, and you were also hosting a talk, underground talk, for last few months
Yes.
or
Yes.
maybe 1 year. So, can you tell
Yes.
about that? Because there are, so it's not only about artists and painters. You have
Yes. 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 You know, it started very spontaneously, and underground talk turned out to be a very interesting event. Later on, you know, we got the extensions on it. We got India Habitat Center as a part of it, and then After we still will continue it after the once the things are restored well. Underground Talk is a very uh, it is a very interesting chapter which started on its own all of a sudden. You know, in last 2 years, it happened that after, especially after my novel, when my a kind of a writing skill was being noticed by the writers community, I started getting invitations from many lit fests, and then I got a different kind of a window and different kind of a platform to interact with a different kind of a audience. I also noticed that in most of this lit fest, there are hardly any artists who are going, especially from our generation, from my generation. You know, very few artists who were invited. I mean, how one can go if you're not invited? So I was the fortunate one that I all of a sudden started getting invitation from many lit fests, not only in India but outside also, and that has created a new interest, new audience, and also I also got it engaged, got it very interesting to engage with. And then I thought that let's start one conversation, because it's a very common saying that artists usually they don't speak. The second very common impression is that, oh, artists, they are mostly in the world of glamour and dealing with the market. These are very allegatory terms. Sometimes I said, no, we should, I don't belong to that school. I belong to the school of J. Swaminathan and Raza. These are the people who believed in dialogues. And then being a part of the Raza Foundation, of course, this is the lesson I got, that having a dialogue, not only with the people you like, also with you disagree with. So I created two forums. One is the Underground Talk, and second is hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello. Hello, can you hear me, Melody? I think there is some connectivity problem. He may join us back, and we are almost towards the end of today's program. I'm just waiting for Maniji. We can just conclude. Almost today's session is over. The time is almost over. So thank you for being with us.